Hello, it's Jason with Cohesity Techie. Today I'm going to go over an example that was happening in my small lab where I have a Windows block-based backup and then there was a failure and how the system handles everything. So let's get started. From the main dashboard, click on Data Protection, and then we're going to click on a protection group called Win Block. Because I have more than 7 days worth of backups, I'm going to remove the 7-day filter. And we're going to scroll to the bottom so you can see the very first backup. A couple of things to note. The very first backup will still say incremental. And in this case, it took about 3 minutes and read about 14 gigs worth of data and only ended up writing about 5.2 gigs worth of data. We're going to scroll to the middle where we had our first backup issue. So the error message you see on the screen is the Cohesity service on the host cannot be reached, aka it could not contact the Cohesity agent running on this virtual machine. If you're ever in this situation, first couple things I would verify. Is the host online? Can we reach the Cohesity agent running on said host? Is there a firewall rule change on the host? And last but not least, verify the server's account is still valid. Maybe the password expired or changed. Now my situation was I rebooted the host and it lost the trust. In my situation, I rebooted the host and it lost the trust relationship with the domain controller. Always remember you can click on the protection run to see the full error message if the font is too small. We can go and actually look at the run to see if we have any more errors or details. In this case, it was just showing the same message that we couldn't contact the agent. So next, to show you in the middle that I even tried to do a full backup or incremental, I was still getting failures. So the error message did change. So what had happened is I shut down the server. When I rebooted, I lost the trust relationship. So when the server was down, the agent couldn't be contacted, so we're getting the agent failure. Then when we rebooted the server, that I was getting the failed to resolve host error. After I fixed my host OS, then notice that the next backup, even though it says incremental, was complete. The read was 14 gigs and the data written was only 600 megs. The next backup has completed, but we still get a warning message saying that it took a full backup because it obtained no incremental delta warning. We're going to click on it so you can see this full message. On the right hand side, if you click view more, you can get the full message. Now if you look at the backup log, you'll see the word use blocks. If you keep going over, you'll see no incremental blocks. Basically it means it couldn't obtain any incremental data, therefore it needs to take a full backup. This is normal and expected behavior in this situation. The key point is the amount of data written down to the cluster is very minimal. It just needs to take time. The backup time itself will take longer because it has to read the entire disk, in this case the entire 14 gigs. If you look at the next couple backup runs, you'll see the amount of data read is very small along with the amount of data written. Next we're going to click on a backup run so you can see the difference. If you look at the job log and look at the backup type shows incremental rather than use blocks. Say you had a protection group with several servers in there. One thing to pay attention to is the status option where you can click on the status and filter this further on what has failed, what was running, etc. That's a little tidbit that most people might not pay attention to. So hopefully now you have a better understanding what to look at in cases of there was an agent issue and now the backup is now being a full backup and what to look at exactly into the logs. So I hope this was helpful and informative, and thanks for watching.